no matter how strong technology you deal with in your job, if your fundamentals are weak, you adopting a technology may not give you the right result. We are living in a world when there are more disruptions. Whatever generation, few things will never change. Hard work, no substitute. So otherwise, these things will, today we are talking about some technology, tomorrow we'll talk about something else.
Welcome to the inaugural episode of IndoXchange, a podcast designed to bring you the ins and outs of AEC. I'm Ripudaman Singh, your host, and I'm thrilled to embark on this journey of captivating conversations, expert opinions, and invaluable insights with our luminaries, educators, and insiders who are shaping the landscape of our industry. Let me extend a warm welcome to all you listeners and tell you a bit about us. We are all about driving progress within our industry through our specialized CAT services and various other business offerings. We empower businesses to soar in this ever-evolving landscape. Our philosophy, it's simple. We believe strongly in thriving on mutual growth through global business collaborations. Our mission is to create an environment where innovation knows no bounds, where every partnership propels us together to a new height. Today, as we start the series, I would want to welcome our first guest, Mr. Santosh Borde, who is the Training Placement Officer at JSPM Colleges. And he would be here to share his expert opinions on the set of discussion we actually run down on. So, hi everyone. As promised, we have Mr. Santosh Borde here with us. And what I believe strongly is that having him on board and our first episode, sir, thank you so much for coming in. And I would like you to tell about yourself more than I would be explaining here.
Namaskar to all our listeners and thanks for this wonderful opportunity. So with JSPM since 2005, so almost completing 2 decades. And with Federation since 2009 as a chairman since 2019. Overall 24 years of experience and mostly moving around training and placement arena. So moving around industry and students and their aspirations. So looking forward for a wonderful podcast and your interesting questions. I hope and I believe I am able to answer those. Thank you very much.
No, sir. I am pretty sure that we would be able to find out a better, we'll have a lot to learn from you, obviously. And just to understand, sir, I mean, like you explained yourself, like you have been in this whole periphery of being a training and placement officer. You would have regarded a lot of changes. So typically, sir, how challenging our days to day, working are and how you handle those challenges. Because what I believe is handling expectations of so many students in college and bringing them on one single platform is not one of the easiest tasks possible in the world. So how do you manage that? That is one of the very interesting things that I had in mind to ask you.
Well, by the nature of our job, it is always tricky.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And we are always on the toes.
Yep.
And when 1,000 kids or 4,000 kids watching you and having huge expectations, no matter whether they are prepared, employable enough, or carrying that right attitude, but everyone believes they all are good and we can do some magic and give opportunity and place every one of them.
Right.
So that is the life we live with, as a lot of expectations from the people, the parents and our own management. Having said that, that pushes us to perform better, to plan things in more organized way and keep innovating our processes and practices so that we can gel with the current generation and the next generation students. And it's always both ways. When we are working hard, we always try to learn from our kids because they learn new tools, they understand a lot of technologies, and it's always a game for us. Every day, believe me, we work in a very vibrant environment. So we are used to this pressure situations, and that's why we believe when we counsel a kid, we are the ones who can teach them how to be patient in life and why success will come with more efforts and more hard work.
Right, sir. Very well said, sir. I mean, very wise word, because I remember when I started working, when I got placed, so my training placement officer there in my college also, guided us here. So henceforth, I'm here and I have an opportunity to have you here. So that does means a lot. But then, sir, you mentioned a very specific point that how the generation today is changing and it's evolving. They are very much exposed to internet. They are very, how should I put it forward? But a 3-year-old kid knows how to use a mobile phone much better. So in that format, sir, my question is, how do you see these generation breaking into the tech industry currently? And how do you see that the things are changing and these things are ever evolving? So there might be small little needs like plagiarism or generative AI being in place where people, these students would, do their homeworks or questions or whatever possible using these tools. So how do you, handle those situations in your college, sir, and around you, sir? That the student actually doesn't take much support from these systems, but he can outgrow himself by learning. That's one of the basic questions here, sir.
So as you rightly said, this generation kids, they are blessed with a lot of new tools and technologies. And most of their time is with gadgets, be it a smartphone or a laptop. So their screen time and the amount of life they spend in digital world is humongous. So making them human first is the challenge. Otherwise, everyone is tech savvy, as you said, right, from a 2 or 3 years kid to someone who is pursuing a professional course today. The challenge is not with adopting the new technologies, because I believe technology itself is so smart that they put you in a position where you start leveraging and exploring the technology.
Right.
But as a user of the technology, when it is employment perspective,
correct,
knowing your own potential as a student and as an institute, mapping the students with the right kind of profile and the skill sets what may they have, and the area of passion and interest where they can align for a longer term, I think that is the key. And to be honest, no college can satisfy the technical appetite and aspirations of a student, no matter they are in IIT or a simple typical college, because technology is ever evolving, right? So there is nothing like education industry can do to satisfy that.
Yeah.
The job of the education industry, to me, I believe, is more of keeping the fundamentals right at basic level, at the organization level.
Right,
so when it comes to technical knowledge, it's all about how much fundamental concepts of my students are cleared out in the college life.
Correct, sir.
Because no matter how strong technology you deal with in your job, if your fundamentals are weak, you adopting a technology may not give you the right result.
Agreed, sir.
So second, I think colleges and schools, I think, need to be more responsible with respect to passing on values, integrity and ethics, because end of the day, as an employer, these 3 qualities today companies struggling to have in students.
I truly agree with you, sir.
So though it's a very large topic to discuss and debate, but in the interest of the time, if I close it down as a statement, I think students are tech savvy already.
Yep.
And we need to give them an ecosystem where they can leverage more on it. And now teachers also need to upskill and reskill themselves to be able to coach them well. So that is what I can say as of now.
Right, sir. I mean, I 100%. I'm 100% aligned, and I believe my audience would be 100% aligned on the same. Right. So please watch out for this podcast, because we are giving you those insights which you generally don't find randomly available. Right. So now the next question, sir, like you mentioned, these students and everybody is evolving in this techscape, and like you mentioned, you are trying your best to bridge gap. I have a very straightforward question here, which would be, sir, that what strategies are you trying to employ that you are, like you mentioned, you are making sure that these students have a very strong fundamental knowledge in college, right? Which is very important for all of us. But then there is always probably, how should I say, put it forward from a student's perspective, a big cultural change when he goes out from college to a job. And that whole journey is in itself is a great transition for that student, right? So what are the strategies that you're currently, employing, if you can tell a few, that are bringing a huge change in AEC industry, where AC industry is flourishing with a lot of new disruptions happening, and a lot of students are adopting these new technologies. And probably we are 100% sure earlier when we saw what kind of a growth was AC industry expecting versus what it is now after the invent of generative AI, 3D printing, and a lot of things coming in. So these students are, going through that cultural shock and differences because they believe that the kind of fundamentals they are coming, and when it comes to real application of that knowledge, it in itself is a very big, probably a big difference. So how are you helping students there, sir? That's my question.
Yeah. So it was a long question. I think what I can relate from this question is the transition you're trying to ask from a college life to a corporate life.
Correct, sir.
Yeah, it's been challenging all the time. 20 years back also, 30 years back also. But today it is more challenging.
Right.
Because as you said, we are living in a world when there are more disruptions.
Yeah.
So earlier the time of disruption was quite longer. So now even if I'm talking to you, there could be disruption tomorrow. So we are living in a world where uncertainty is very common.
Right, sir.
So you cannot do everything possible in college to work on this model.
Right, sir.
But to adopt the changing technologies, the one thing you can do is you can promote good minor projects at second year and third year level of their college life, where you can promote some kind of multidisciplinary problem statements, wherein any branch student can work along with any other branch students.
Right, sir.
So that he can resonate with the practical way of looking at a problem and solving the problem.
Correct, sir.
So that is to a larger extent is missing in academics, but some of the institutes definitely they are taking care of it. To this generation, though they can do 10 things at one go,
right, sir.
Probably the problematic area for them is lack of patience.
Right, sir.
So because they are an app-oriented generation, so even they order food, right? So they expect things to come in 20 to 25 minutes of time.
Right.
And if they need some information, they can Google in fraction of seconds, and they are curious to know the answer. They want to connect someone on LinkedIn, but connect super fast.
Yep.
So I think if someone need to teach someone to this youngster in this transition period, it's about a lot of patience.
Right, sir.
I see a lot of kids after joining a company, maybe a fairly small scale startup or mid-size, they don't keep that patience to be there for some more time. When I'm saying some more time, I'm not saying 10 years. I'm saying at least 1 year, 12 months.
1 year, right, sir.
And then they feel, okay, let me give myself a chance. I may get something better.
Right, sir.
But they start this expectation right from the first week that I'm not getting something I'm wishing for. So this is probably could be addressed when you put some alumni who is not very old in terms of the gap between the fresh and the alumni. So if you put someone who just passed out from the institute with 1 or 2 or 3 years of pass out experience, I think these are the kids who can make them aware about the situation, how they need to respond.
Right, sir.
So again, colleges can do bare minimum, but with alumni relations, I think colleges can leverage and solve this problem to some extent, the transitional problem. And the value of money and how money could be utilized. I think today kids, along with being a degree holder and tech savvy,
correct,
they need to be taught on smartness of financial matters also, which are very critical in life. Yeah. Thank you.
So, sir, the thing, when just quick point on a lighter note, when you mentioned they're not patient, I was expecting you would be saying it's 4 5 years. You said 1 year. Yeah. So I mean, the impatience growing to a level where a student passing out from a college, finds it unbearable at 1 year. So, sir, there might be a lot of changes coming in. Like you mentioned, alumni relations coming in, which is one of the great things that you highlighted on the show, that how a 1 or 2 year old alumni can guide the student through a journey and on a format where probably he's exposed not directly to that, working environment and knowledge, but he comes gently. There's a process of transition for him.
Yeah.
So that's wonderfully highlighted point. Apart from that, sir, there might be a lot of challenges in regards to, meeting student expectations in regards to placements or there. So my perspective here is, sir, on a very simple note, is that nobody believes that he's less than some certain amount. right? So how are you handling those expectations from in regards to their skill set? Because in reality, when they come down to the market, it's basically skill versus return.
Sure.
So how challenging it is for you to handle those expectations day to day?
See, this is very relevant question for people like us, whomsoever is working like us in this market.
Yes, sir.
Every kid believes he's a superstar. Yeah. And everyone believes he's a victim of the system.
Positive mindset, sir.
So everyone feel I'm not getting the right opportunity and someone else is getting better opportunity.
Right,
and I'm not getting something I deserve. Everyone at that age, it's quite normal these days because a lot of peer pressure and you also want to be in the game apart from your colleagues. How to solve this problem? I think let there be some employability checks in terms of some organized, authentic employability tests. Maybe in-house in the campus you can conduct wherein you can tell, hey kid, so you believe you are one of the best. So this is what we have designed for you as an employability test. So it may cover some fundamentals of your branch, some IT basic knowledge because that's the need in every industry today, no matter what branch you are into.
Right, sir.
Your basic verbal abilities, your communication skills, your
Correct, sir.
attitude, etc. So let us be a very frank and open environment where you are challenging the people to justify what they believe is right.
Right, sir.
Though it will not solve the problem 100%, but it will set the tone, for the quick kind of solution at least.
Yeah.
Right. So to some extent it will solve. You can call in some alumni and some industry partners to have some mock interviews with them.
Yeah.
And maybe when outside people tell you are more wise and you listen more than someone talking to you who is in-house. Yeah, Gar ki murgi dal barabar, that is what we say. So such a third person feedback, I think people may accept as of now.
Yes, sir.
But this generation, if your attitude is not in place, no matter what ecosystem we may give you, you will struggle for some time. Only time will teach you that you need to change the attitude of negativity to using all these energies for your own constructive mind and positive vibes and positive outcomes. That is what I think I need to tell to the kids these days.
No, so I truly agree because, why am I lying to you is that I believe that self-discipline, self-motivation, now if they are balanced, you are a balanced human being. Otherwise, highly motivated and the other side not being balanced, then it comes to a situation where a person he believes strongly that he is the best. And so the point I agree with you here is that the kind of difference that we are seeing in our generation is not bad, but it is just like the way learned people like yourself are channelizing them in a proper format where you're able to get the best out of every student. So, coming back to something when we are talking about ever-changing, evolving landscape of technology, and these are engineers who develop technologies, and some of the other student is developing a new technology. So we specifically at Indovance work around, outsourcing and CAD drafting solutions and various different other business channels as well. But I want to ask you from a perspective of our company that how are you coping up with these challenges like this invention of AI and then its intervention into CAD drafting and all these fields. How do you think, sir, what is the impact of AI in this industry? Number one phase of question. Followed by, sir, what are the, how are you helping students cope up this challenge? And rest, I can follow up with a question after that, sir.
Yeah. So the context today is Indovance as a company, and mostly you're into BIM and then.
Yes, sir. Lot of things. Yeah.
So AI in general, anyways, will impact almost everything what we can imagine.
Absolutely,
right?
sir.
Today we may be knowing about it or we may not be knowing about it, but impact will be surely there.
Right.
So likewise, even if it is a design-centric thing, from a job perspective, it will have some impact.
Right.
So, but we need to take every upcoming technology very positively. That I always tell my students and my colleagues, you cannot quibble about what is happening new and how it will eat up a lot of jobs.
Right.
We should carry a positive mindset. So if something new is coming up, it's our duty to handhold with the technology, to adopt the technology. And one thing is sure, fear obviously will be there, a lot of social media hype. Of course, it will impact some jobs. Having said that, it will create new avenues, new jobs, new opportunities. So if you carry that positive mindset,
Right, sir.
I think in terms of a design and drafting, if I look at from my perspective, I'm not a civil engineer, but even as a common sense of 24 years of experience, I can say there will be few operations and processes which may get automated,
Right.
and there will be few processes which a person need to do still manually, and you cannot replace the talent.
Correct.
So maybe the number of people required for that process may come down, but the eligibility to take that process ahead,
Right.
that will need that mind of the person
Right.
to begin with. So
It's-
it will never change. And what we can do in college or ecosystem of education, we can sensitize the students,
Right, sir.
to take any upcoming technology with a positive note, and they can start upskilling themselves to a smaller extent. It's not like I will become some AI and ML certified person, but having some awareness, some common sense about it, and maybe using it to a smaller extent if possible in one of these small projects, so that they can understand how it works, So otherwise, these things will, today we are talking about some technology, tomorrow
Yeah.
we'll talk about something else.
I agree.
That will never change, right? So
So
all we need to
basically,
do
sir,
is-
I agree with you here is that it's all about the mindset that a person carries.
True.
90. So someone wise said, anonymous, the person says that 90% of battles are won through mindset. So I mean, I agree with you on that, sir. And then, sir, I have a following question with it. That since you said that these are the changes, so are you currently or planning any strategies where you would help student adopt these, changes in CAD solutions and drafting solutions and AI implementing, like you mentioned, downsizing of the team, but still a human intervention. So do you think, sir, you are planning to start some courses or something within the training period of them when they go through during their college life, that some kind of a process can be implemented or involved there? Do you plan something down the line?
See, with AI tools, it may not be an immediate action plan, but
Right.
the conventional courses like AutoCAD, and
right, sir.
other stuff, or Revit, these things are already part of academics in most of the colleges.
Right,
where
sir.
they may be running a mechanical, civil, or an electrical course. But again, when students pursue the courses like these, the focus is mostly academic centric. It's
Right,
not
sir.
project centric. It's not real time. So only change we can bring in, people like you, people like Indovance, companies like Indovance can come forward and come with some small problem statements and can share it with the students in the college, and can mentor them to some extent, so that though they may be using an AutoCAD or a CAD in a college life, but how to leverage on that from a perspective of a real-time project, that insights if are added, AI and all that stuff, anyways they can take it ahead in life as and when it is required.
I agree.
Today
with
their
you.
fundamentals and application approach should be good
Correct.
at the college level.
Correct. I agree. So it can be a co-joined effort down the line whenever we can find a solution for that. And I agree with you, sir. So, sir, my next follow-up question is, firstly, sir, about we have you on board, so we want to understand, how do you feel about Indovance? How are we trying to help these students who are getting hired, and how do you believe that? Like, one of your students was here with us for a very long time, I guess. So probably we would want to know your experience about how do you feel about that, sir.
Yeah, there is always a smile on my face when I take the name of Indo. So obviously I'm here for the same reason.
Thank you,
And,
sir. Thank you so much.
As far as association, I think it has been so good so far. And some of our kids, pass out and current batch, they are already working with Indovance.
Right, sir.
And I believe there are at least 15 plus students
Yes,
working
sir.
in Indovance. They may be from civil, mechanical or electrical backgrounds. And I can tell you one thing, the kind of learning they are going through as of now in Indovance, maybe as a trainee or with 6 or 1 year of experience,
Right,
the
sir.
journey is good. and they will be able to add a lot of value going ahead in terms of their career, because the kind of ecosystem they are getting for now as a fresher, it's phenomenal.
Thank you, sir.
All they need to do is work hard.
It's all our teams are behind it. Thank you, HR team. So, and I would want to ask you, now we are towards the end of our wonderful podcast session. I wish that it continued for a longer time. But sir, just to wrap it up quickly, I want to ask, what are the key advices you would give the students in our current generation, students of a current generation, my apologies for that what could guide them do better in our industry, let's say for example CAD and drafting industry and BIM and outsourcing and a lot of things that we do. What would you guide these students and also students in general to do better in life?
So I'll try to put it in both ways, one in general and one from the perspective of an outsourcing industry, that too in say BIM kind of profile, mostly in drafting and design.
Right, sir.
General, whatever generation, few things will never change. Hard work, no substitute, as we keep telling every time. Two, values and integrity is very costly today. So
right, sir.
Everyone believes everything can be manipulated and influenced. If that thought is taken out somewhere at school level and college level, I think it will add immense value to the life of a corporate for an employee. Three, being more patient with your performance and process, because you do your best and wait for the right time, things will change for you. Not everyone get a success immediately then and there, so you need to trust your process, your instinct, keep working hard, and at least be good in one thing, maybe one technology or one aspect or one project. And if you are a technical graduate, I think whatever branch you are coming out as an engineer, your fundamentals need to be in place, with some very good, interesting problem statements for one or two projects. That is enough. Communication, no matter you're an engineer or not, today, end of the day as an employee, you'll deal with a lot of people, right? So you try to transform yourself and the world around you, and that is possible when you can articulate well, communicate well. It's not about English.
Right, sir.
It's about you and your own language, but how you make it more interesting for others.
I agree, sir.
Then about your industry, I think yesterday I was doing some homework, to be very honest, because I believe if I don't know something, I go for it and I learn, because age is just a number, right? So I think the analysis what I have for a company like Indovance and the industry where it falls as a domain, I can see the competitive job opportunities for civil engineers since last so many years is not very good. Anyone can accept this now, whomsoever is watching this. So if you are a civil engineer and passing out from any college,
right,
you are not getting the right opportunity and not right salary. You are getting 5,000 to 10,000 units,
right,
and not that competitive work. What I have observed from my homework yesterday, a very interesting fact I have learned. If you are a civil engineer and if you get into a company like Indovance,
right, sir,
you are getting a competitive salary as close as a services company like IT.
Right, sir.
Close to that. That's a big plus, I can say very easily. And I believe this should excite a lot of civil engineers, of course, electrical and mechanical engineers too.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Those were very kind words from you. And as you rightly mentioned, so our company's, main tagline, which I would say was, let's grow together. And it is strongly believed by our COO, Mrs. Aditi Gadkari, and our CEO, Mr. Santosh Joshi themselves. So, so moving on, sir, it was a great discussion, sir, firstly. Thank you so much for giving us time, sir. And these wonderful insights that you have and your great experience. So for students out there, sir, would you have some closing statement for all our viewers, us, everyone, in regards to how they can become better?
So the interesting thing I understood from your question and statement is you have a philosophy with a tagline, grow together.
Yeah.
And it's sheer coincidence. The place where I work, the team what I handle, our signature line is better together. So
wow.
philosophically, probably we are
Aligned.
connected well,
Yes,
and we
sir.
are well aligned. So if some youngster is watching this and he is coming from technical background, quite a simple thing I think I would like to tell him or her. Now kids need to adapt to the changing environment,
Right, sir.
which was already there in the past, but more from upcoming technical disruptions. And the only constant thing would be your attitude, the way you go for the things,
Right.
and your whole positivity.
Right.
When I hear or keep hearing the words like depression, etc., in this generation, the first thing comes to my mind is why so? Maybe the number of hours and minutes you are spending on social media,
Right.
the maybe you're carving for those likes and comments, that is not the real life.
I agree.
Come
sir.
out of it and show your talent definitely on YouTube, Insta, but let it be more creative.
Right.
And still we need to live in a world with more collaborations and more face-to-face interactions. So if we are among the people
Right.
all the time, we learn more than the books.
Right, sir.
So it's go get out of your app and mobile and spend some time with your near and dear ones, especially the people who are senior to you. Their experiences of success and failure will teach you n number of things.
Right, sir.
So go and get that advantage for you. God bless you. Thank
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. With those nice, kind ending words of sirs, we would like to end our podcast right here.